Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the answers here. We won't go through it necessarily. We'll just kind of see, does anybody want to give their answer, and then we'll move on. So does anybody want to give the answer for the domain? Do you want me to text you if I want you to say the answer? Because everybody's looking at their phones all at the same time here. Let me look at my phone so I feel included. Yeah. Oh, nice. I just got a text message. It's a good one. All right, we'll start in the back. Okay. Jack, I'll start with you. What's the domain?
I think it's -6.
Yes.
And then the one to the right is 7.
Oh, good. Okay, yes. So for the domain on this one, we do want to list out all of them in between there as well. So you're right that it's -7. Sorry, you said -6. -6. And the biggest one is 7. You are right on that. But we're also going to give all the ones in between. If they are not connected, we're going to list them all out individually. And the reason that we're doing this today is because what you see here is exactly the opposite of what I'm going to ask you to do today. So today, I'm going to give you the discrete domain. I'm going to list out the x's, and you're going to graph them. Okay? So that's why we're doing this, and this is a good point to bring up. So I'm sure we had that. So give me the ones in between. Charlotte, do you have a couple of them? So we got -6 is the first one. No? Do you know what the next one is? No. Okay. -4. Then? Yep. 1 and 4. Did you say this was a function or not a function? Okay. Well, because of this part right here, would this be a function or not? See how there's 2 of these dots right here on this line? It's not a function. Good. So this would not be a function. So down here, this is not a function. Because, do you know what to write for the because? Yes, because there are 2 y values for, and then you can be specific, so you can just say for an x, you can just say for a x, and be done. Or you could say for x equals, and then tell me where there are 2. So right here would be x equals 4. So on the 4 line. So you can be specific, or you can just say for an x. Okay, there are 2 y values for an x. Okay, now I didn't do the range for that one. Okay. So, Cameron, you want to give me the range? -2. You said -4. Sorry, -2, 1, 2, 4, and 5. Yeah. So -4. I think you said that the first time. -2, 1, 2, 4, and 5. Okay, list them out. Nice. Thank you. Okay, now the reason these 2 are on here, these 2 have nothing to do with what we're doing today, right? So they don't have anything to do with what we're doing today, but we did confuse them when we took the assessment. A couple, not everybody, but a couple of us excuse those. So when you plug this one in, so we're going to put 7 in for x. So when you put in 7, Cameron, what did you get for that one? When you put in 7 for this one, you got 9. Yep. And I checked that one over there, so we're good with that one. And then this one right here, when you plugged this one in, this tells if you plugged it in the right spot or not. Okay? When you plugged this one in, you should have gotten 8. X equals 8. Did you get x equals 8? -8? Okay, because you divide by -2. Yep, -8. Thank you. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 22, we're going to put that in for this f of x piece. So it's going to go 22 equals negative 2x plus 6. Do you remember that? Okay, check yours. Okay, make sure that you plugged it into the right spot. Okay, did you plug that 22 into this left side? Okay, then we're going to subtract 6 from both sides, and you get 16 equals negative 2x, and then you divide. So that's where we got our negative 8 from. Okay, so all of that is super important. So the first one I picked very specifically because that's what we were doing today, but backwards. And the other two I picked because we confused those when we actually took the assessment. So we have to keep that in our head. We have to keep reminding ourselves of that so that we can get it right when we actually take the test, because the test is the one that matters, right? Okay, moving on. We are on page 11. 11. I used to have a math teacher that would say it like that. He said, a little French class. 11. That is not the French word for 11. Just so we're clear. Don't go to French class and be like, well, my math teacher told me. That's 11. It's not. So we're on page 11. Here's where we are today. Let's talk about the standard. New standard for the day. Standard 3. There are 4 standards in this unit. None of them are super uber difficult, but there's a lot of information. So you have to keep everything separate. Here's the thing. Every single one of these levels, level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4, you are going to be doing the same thing. But your final touch, your final finish on every problem is different. And that's the part we have to be specific about. Okay? Yeah.
Wait, so are we plugging in the x number?
Yes, that is exactly what we're doing. So here's what we're doing today. First thing is given a discrete domain. Domain is x. Okay? So here's what I'm going to give you. I am giving you what this means is I'm going to give you a list of x values. That's what that means. Okay? Can we put our phones away just so we can get this? I have one example, y'all. I have one example. Okay? And then we're going to just practice this. So let's keep our phones away for this one example, and then you can work and take breaks in between. Okay? So I'm going to give you a list of x values. What you're going to do is you're going to find the y value, and then we're going to plot them. Moving up here, it says given a domain of all real numbers. So what's going to happen is what I give you to plug in is going to change. You're still going to plug in numbers. You're going to plug them in. That's what we're going to do. Every level of this standard, you're going to plug them in. But what you plug in and how you write the answers are all going to be different. Okay? Okay, so eyes up here. Here we go. Here's the first problem. You ready? So, when it gives you a list of a domain, right? Here's my list. Those numbers are going to go here for your x's. Now, I did that for you on this one. When you actually go to practice, those won't be there. So you're going to have to put them there. So like negative 6 goes in there, and you just list them out. Okay? Now, I put workspace in here in the middle, okay, so that you could write it out for yourself. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in negative 6 for the x value. Okay, now you all have a calculator, right? Because I told you needed one. So you grab your calculator and you type that in. Maybe you can do that in your head, which is also totally fine. But I'm going to also show you how to make this go a little bit faster if you type it in. Okay, so if you type in 1 divided by 2, parentheses, negative 6, parentheses, plus 2. Did y'all get that typed in? You hit enter. Voila. Okay, so I got negative 1. So here's what we have to write. Your negative 1 is what? Is that x or y? That is the y value. So in my point, the point is going to be negative 6, comma, negative 1. Okay, that's your answer. You got negative 1 in your calculator. So the point you are going to put on the graph, you're going to go negative 6 over and negative 1 up, and you're going to, or negative 1 down, and you're going to put a dot. Okay. Okay, now let's jump back over the calculator though so I can show you this next one. Now we are plugging in -4, right? As we go through this process, I am going to pull this away from you. I'm going to pull this security blanket away from you, this row, this column of rows here. Okay, so you won't get to write those out. So here's how we can use our calculator a little bit to make things a little bit easier. Okay, so you have your calculator in front of you, right? You ready? You are going to hit this up button. Okay, hit up. And then hit up one more time. And do you see how this thing that I typed in was highlighted? See that? Hit enter. And then what you can do is you can scroll over. So hit this left button. And then I'm going to change -6. What am I changing that to? -4 is now my new number. Right? Because my next one is -4. And then you hit enter. See how I didn't have to type everything in again? Okay, so that's something you can use if you want. That's just a little tool for you if you want. So you can use the calculator and just change that one number, or you can type it all in again and again and again and again and again. Okay, so this one is 0. So when I plugged in -4, I got 0. Plug in -2. Now I'm just going to go up. Then I'm going to go up. Hit enter. It'll copy that. It's like a copy and paste almost, right? On your computer, copy and paste. And then the next one I'm plugging in is -2. So I'm going to go over and change that to -2. Okay, so when I plugged in -2, I got 1. Okay, and the next part is your calculator, if you don't clear, right, no one hit clear ever. Look, I got -6, -1, -4, 0, -2, I got them all right there. It's kind of nice. Okay, the next one I'm plugging in down here is 0. That's next. I'm plugging in 0 next. So I'm going to go up, up, copy, paste, right? And then go over and change this to 0. When you change it to 0, you also have to get rid of the negative sign because your calculator doesn't like a -0. Or anytime you have that negative, you want to get rid of it. So you need to go over to that negative and then hit delete. So this delete button right here will help you get rid of that. If you don't like the method to my madness, you don't have to use it. You can type it in every time to make sure you get the right answer. So when I typed in 0, I got 2. And now I'm going to type in 2. So again, I'm going to scroll up, enter, change this to a 2 because that's my next one here. It's 2. And I get 3, 2, 3. Okay, so now we're going to take a second and you're going to put those points on your graph with dots. Okay? Okay, ready? All right, so we're going to go this way first. So you go right, left first. Okay, so we're going to go left to -6, down 1, and there's my first dot. Okay, the next one, I'm going to go to -4, and then it's 0. So I leave it right there. My next one is -2, +1, 0, 2, and 2, 3. Okay, now if you were working ahead, this is where you might kick yourself. you are not going to connect the dots. Did you hear that? You are not connecting the dots. You didn't do that yet, have you?
No.
Good.
I just remember this from last year.
Okay, so the reason you are not connecting the dots is because these are the only numbers in the domain. Okay, so two things I want you to note here. Number one is we do not connect the dots. Okay, because only these dots work. Nothing else works. And the second thing is everything I picked for you on this practice that we're going to do, everything I picked for you on the practice is going to line up. So it's going to look, they should all be in line with each other. So all the points line up with each other. Okay?
And does that mean it's A?
It will, yes, they will all be functions. Yeah. Yep. So they'll all line up with each other, and it's going to be super tempting to connect them with a line because they all line up, but don't. Okay? Because only the values in the domain count on the function. And when you connect them, you're saying everything in between also counts. Okay? Okay, that's it. So now we're just going to practice that.
So then are you just going to give me the numbers?